Hey guys, my name is Gabriella Vanema and welcome back to my channel where we talk about living more sustainable. So this video is going to be a little bit different and it's going to feature my husband Brandon. There he is. So we've actually been together about almost 5 years now and we've been married for a couple weeks ago, which is what brought
this video.
Yeah, it's what started the idea of this video and the reason why we're making it. So I think we've always been kind of more on the frugal side of living, kind of like cheaper. Yeah, cheap. So we tend to not buy expensive items and things like that, and things that we don't actually need. But we didn't start going zero waste or more sustainable living until about last fall, when I discovered the zero waste movement on YouTube. But when did we start talking about like experience gifts?
That was before we even did the zero waste stuff.
Yeah? When did we start talking about that? Oh, I think it was actually when we first started dating when we talked about that.
Yeah, probably.
Because one of our favorite dates was actually one of our first dates that he surprised me with is when, well, you told me that there was a surprise date that was going to happen. And then he took me to breakfast and we got I got pancakes and you got like an omelet or something because that's his favorite breakfast. And then we went to the Cleveland Zoo. So
I do like the zoo.
Yeah, we love the zoo. And we go to the Columbus one all the time. Well, before the whole pandemic situation. But we used to go there literally every weekend last year. So
yeah,
that was really fun. So it obviously depends on the couple and their needs and their circumstances and their level of communication. But I think it works better for us. Well, one of the reasons why it works better for us is because when we need something, we usually need it for a reason. So for example, like your equipment to like stream like his video games, like he needed that, so we just bought it so he could start using it instead of waiting for a birthday or Christmas or something like that. We just bought it. So for holidays and birthdays and anniversaries and things like that, we usually don't have things that we need most of the time. So experience gifts is where that really comes into play with us, I think. So we can actually celebrate the event that's happening with doing something together.
And I like food.
He does like food.
Lots and lots of food.
So that's one of the things that your family actually did a lot. Is when Brandon was growing up, like for birthdays and celebrations, they always went out to eat and used that as a time to celebrate.
Yep.
So eating out wasn't as often for you.
No.
Yeah.
No, we used to, whoever's birthday or holiday it was, essentially, we would pick where we actually went to go. So my place was almost always an all-you-can-eat buffet, which my favorite is Mongolian Grill, and it's absolutely amazing.
Because he eats a lot, so he definitely needs all you can eat. Yeah. I think this is something that we've actually done quite a lot in the past, but we didn't actually label it as experience gifts. It's something that we just kind of did because we enjoyed that more than gift giving to each other.
Yeah.
I think
Neither
that was
one
the
of us
reason
are
why.
particularly fond of receiving gifts, actually.
Yeah. I kind of actually don't like giving and receiving gifts because it's always, I hope they like it. I hope they think that we spent enough money on it. I hope they didn't spend too much money on me, a gift.
Yeah.
Or when I'm receiving a gift, I hope, I might not get as much use out of it as they might hope, or it's something they thought I would enjoy, but then I actually don't need it, or I won't use it as much.
It's also really hard to meet the zero waste part.
Yeah, and especially
when you
with
don't control what items you're getting.
Yeah, especially when living the lifestyle we do, it's really hard to give people a list of all those things if they have a certain budget or if they don't have accessibility to buying things online or those resources. And I don't want to spend as much time researching those things as I do, which makes sense. That's not the lifestyle that everyone wants to live, but when it comes to giving gifts, celebrations, and holidays, it kind of makes it a bit more complicated.
Yeah. AKA, she has 1 billion t-shirts.
I do. Yeah. And stitch things. When people don't know what to give me usually, they just end up being like, oh, okay, well you like Disney and Lilo and Stitch. So I have a ton of Lilo and Stitch items. So I never buy it myself. I just wait for people to give it to me.
Yeah.
And for Brandon, it's just food.
Reese cups.
It's food. Yeah, it's
Reese
Reese
cups
cups, alcohol.
specifically.
Alcohol. You get alcohol a lot too.
I've only once.
No, more than that. It's more than that. But yeah. So Brandon was right. I think it was actually only one time that he got alcohol, but his go-to is usually like a coffee mug, a coffee canteen, something that he can put coffee in, because everyone knows that he's really addicted to coffee and caffeine. He loves caffeine.
I do.
I think one of our favorite experience. Well, does our honeymoon count as experience?
So I don't know if it counts as experience,
I don't know.
but our honeymoon, instead of actually spending the money and going somewhere, we got a puppy that we adopted from one of the local shelters.
Yeah. So our honeymoon was Kamari. So yeah, I think that counts as like.
He's a very long experience.
Yes, he's a long experience. He was our first like actual pet that we got like together and we were raising like together.
Yeah.
So that's really special to us.
You adopted Bear and Zena.
Yes, and I adopted his family dogs. And then our last anniversary, our first year anniversary, we went to Myrtle Beach. And that was your first time ever going to the beach.
Yeah.
Or like the ocean. Yes, like
the
seeing
big
the
blue.
ocean. Yeah. So that was really special too. And we got to see his brother, so that was fun. But this year was a little bit more complicated and I guess restricted because we do have our foster dog and he is a bit
He's a handful.
Yeah, he's a handful. So we couldn't really find anyone to watch him and overnight. He has like separation anxiety and issues that we're training him with. So we didn't really want to leave him alone for that long. So we decided to just do a day trip and take a couple of days off together and spend more time together over the weekend doing a bunch of random things throughout the day instead of spending the night somewhere. So we went to Hocking Hills.
Which was amazing.
We have been waiting to go to Hocking Hills since we started talking about hiking together like the first year we were dating.
Yeah.
So I think we've always loved like hiking and going to parks together and taking our dogs on walks. But this year I think one of our biggest goals was to actually hike more often.
Yeah.
So that started a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so we're at a park right now and hiking. So we're following up on it.
Yeah.
But Hocking Hills was really beautiful. It was way more packed than I would have imagined and that we would have liked. So we didn't get to take as much time as we wanted to look through the trails and just stand there with our dogs. But it was still worth the drive. I think it was about
It was about a half-hour drive.
It was about 45 minutes, I think, from us. Yeah, it was about a 45-minute drive, like one way. But it was definitely worth it. And it was good exercise for our older dogs. Or
Dog.
well, yeah.
We brought 2 out of
Yeah.
the 3 dogs because the one is he's old with hip problems.
Yeah, Bear's a bit on the older side, and he definitely has his hip issues. So we take him on shorter walks, and Xena, our other old dog, we take on longer walks with Kamari, our honeymoon puppy. So I think we both had a lot going on lately since this year started, or since we got married. A lot has happened to us over time, and and this year I started YouTube, I started doing my channel, and Brandon started streaming his video games. So if you guys like video games, you should definitely check him out on Twitch. What's your gamer tag?
Gamertag is Dragora Camp. We can put a link in the description.
Yeah, link in the description below. He plays a mobile Star Wars game, so if you love Star Wars, you should check that game out. But we've had a lot going on lately, so I think we really decided to take a couple of days off to really learn to relax again and make sure that we have time to catch up on what we're doing, and just take the time to get back into like learning how to relax with doing all the things that we want to accomplish, because we are very headstrong people, so we need to take a step back sometimes and remember that we need to take time to get enough sleep, take time to eat, and time together is really important. And I think a lot of people should definitely do that as well.
aka a work-life balance.
Yes, balancing your work life and your things that you enjoy, and just having a normal like social life and time to just sit and do nothing is important. And going on hikes with our animals and taking care of all of our animals that we have is the way that we love to do it.
Yeah.
Just being out here and walking and exercising is important. Especially since we live in the city and the air isn't all that clean, going out here and smelling the fresh air is amazing. Plus, this also gives our dogs a chance to sniff more things and get more, what's that called?
Activity?
Activity, enrichment, just to let them sniff around and be out in nature is really nice, especially since we live in the city too. So that's good for them. I want to be the best dog mom that I can. We've also always been really passionate about animals, and that's one thing that I've really loved about hiking recently, because just taking the time to sit and walk through the paths has been something I've really enjoyed, because I didn't really do that when I was younger, but you've always really done that with your family.
Yeah, we've done a lot of hiking with my family.
Yeah.
Hiking and taking the dogs on walks.
Yeah, so I've really gotten to enjoy that.
My tradition, we used to do a lot of hiking where we would just go and get Subway, eat at the park, and then go on a hike after we would actually finish eating our Subway. In which case, I used to eat not only my footlong, but half of my mother's and half of my brother's, because I'm a chubby boy.
Yeah. That's one thing, though, we like to do now, too. When we go to the zoo, we usually stay a while at the zoo, so sometimes we'll pack our own lunch so that we can eat and take a break and sit down, read, hydrate ourselves, and then go back to the zoo and finish walking around and seeing all the animals. So that was really fun. It's also how we learned a lot about the reason to live more sustainable. That's the reason why it all got started, pretty much, how it started flowing through my mind. And it taught me about the species survival plans, and how some animals have that endangered, extinct, and how we can help different species thrive, and how we can do different things in order to help them. For the gorillas, for gorillas, you can recycle your electronics, and they actually have that option at the Columbus Zoo, which is really awesome. They also taught me about a palm oil app that you can get, because I didn't know this, but palm oil isn't usually sustainably sourced, because it takes away the habitat of orangutans. So that's really important. It also taught me about how to buy fish that are ethically sourced. What else was there? It talked about all these different animals that need species survival plans, so they don't go extinct like many other species already have.
Yeah. Okay. And we can link all of the apps that we just mentioned in the description below as well.
Yeah. There are so many amazing creatures, and that's one of our hobbies, is just learning about so many creatures that are specifically in Ohio that we can see at the zoo, other creatures that we wanted to go and visit in other countries. There are so many things that we want to learn about, and I'm gonna try and share that with you guys. So that's also one of the big reasons that we love hiking and exploring nature, is to be able to see it in person. And I think being able to see those things firsthand just changes your whole mindset. And one of the other things that we talked about was food, and how we really learn to appreciate the value of food, and how we are privileged to have all this food being offered to us, how I can go and buy fresh food from my farmer's market, how I have all these opportunities to buy good food from good and ethically sourced food markets and grocery stores. So that's really cool. But that's why when we go out to eat, we don't really go out to eat often in general.
No.
We pretty much we like to stick it to once every 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then when we have a celebration that's happening, we go to a more expensive, or a place that we only save that place for once in a while. Like when we go to Mongolian Grill, because it's our favorite place to eat right now. So we decided to go there for our anniversary as well, to have dinner. Yeah, they have amazing food. lots of fresh veggies, fresh meats, and you all get to make it yourself, choose your sauces and spices, and it's hibachi.
Yeah, it should be hibachi style, I think.
Well, they make it right in front of you, and it's really cool.
I think the other reason it's good to actually get out into nature and just sort of the two of us with our animals is it also takes other people out of the equation, so you actually get to concentrate on the other person and the experiences that you have with that person and your family as a whole. And like for our anniversary, it was just us and our animals, but for a lot of people, not necessarily for just anniversary, but for other things, experience gifts can mean a lot for your family and create sort of memories that you can have throughout like your entire life. A lot of the memories that I have with my family was like going to Put-in-Bay, doing some of the trips, or a lot of the pictures of going to the zoo, or example, like both of us have the the orangutan at the Cleveland Zoo. And like when we first started dating, like that was actually one of the huge things that both of us talked about, was both of us had the pictures, and every time we went to the Cleveland Zoo, both of us got our picture taken on the orangutans.
Yeah.
A lot of the gifts that I actually remember too from like my past was like the big one I remember is my grandmother used to get us the memberships for the Cleveland Zoo every single year for our like family Christmas gift.
Yeah.
So that way we could do experience gifts whenever my family had time to. So now we go to the Cleveland Zoo all the time, and now that's one of the reasons we actually enjoy the Columbus Zoo so much. Is getting a membership there, having experiences. We've taken your sister to the Columbus Zoo and showed her that, and then got to actually help her experience some of those same things, because we went to the zoo so much now that we can actually pass on some of the experiences and knowledge that we've learned just from going to that place so much. And like my favorite one was just like being able to inform people that like in Ohio the garter snake is actually endangered in Ohio, and like that always seems to surprise people. But there's just always things to learn at the different places and experiences that you can get no matter what your options are.
Because don't get me wrong, like money can be spent on well appreciated and well needed items, but if you have the opportunity to make time for experience gifts, it will be well worth it. This is one of the best things that we could have ever implemented into our marriage, because it gives us the time to really stay focused with each other. Because when we were hiking and doing stuff like that, and sometimes when we just want to cook together, then we'll set our phones aside and we won't text anybody and we won't check our messages for just like 20 minutes. Just 20 minutes to focus on each other and what we have to say. So I think that was really important to us.
Yeah. A lot of that started with some of my friends actually from the Army, when we used to go to one of the local restaurants as like, I think it was my platoon. We used to have a rule that one of the people, if he saw anybody on their phone, he used to take it, and you did not get your phone back until the end of the meal. That way we made everybody talk and everybody got to actually enjoy the time, and specifically the wine, because I was stationed in Italy.
So he was in the Army for 3 years.
Yeah.
But we didn't really talk about that.
Okay. But yeah, so everybody actually got to enjoy the dinner and talk with everybody, and whatever was left at home or on your phone can wait and actually get to enjoy the time you're spending with people.
Yeah, because even if it's just a short amount of time, like that time can really make a difference to clear your head and just focus on the things that are happening that are good. Anyways, I think that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoy learning more about us. And if you're interested in seeing more ways to live a more sustainable, zero waste, low waste lifestyle, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. And you can even follow me on my social media platforms that are listed in the description down below. So thanks again, guys.
Have a good day.
Bye.